coordinator, and we have a lot of wonderful staff and students and parents to talk to you tonight to share about our school. We're sorry we can't do it in person, but we're so glad that you can join us virtually. And we can continue to answer your questions at any time at the email address you see there, admissions@bugsbrooklyn.org. And there's a lot of information on our website. First, I want to introduce you Kevin Peñalosa, who's our parent coordinator, and he's also going to offer support for our Spanish-speaking families.
Hello, good evening. As Ms. Susan said, my name is Kevin Peñalosa. I'm the family and operations coordinator here at Brooklyn Urban Garden. I'm glad to meet you, and I'm hoping to help you get to know our special school for our Spanish-speaking families. Buenas noches, mi nombre es Kevin Peñalosa. Si tienen algunas preguntas en español, yo puedo responder aquí en el chat o pueden mandarme un mensaje de texto al 347-684-2176. Thank you so much. Y gracias a todos. Have a great night.
Gracias, Kevin, and everyone who's joining us tonight. Thanks again for being here. We are recording this session, so if for folks that enter late, you can catch it all again or anything that you missed. So tonight's program, we're going to tell you a little bit about Bugs and how we started our story. We're going to tell you about teaching and learning at Bugs, our sustainability approach. Like I said, you're going to meet some great teachers with their students. Some parents are here as well. I think we have Naomi McLeod, one of our alumni here. She's amazing, volunteering her time to help share her experience, so you have a sense of how Bugs affects high schoolers and their trajectory forward. Then we're going to talk a little bit about life at Bugs, tell you about our after-school program. The student and family panel can answer some of your questions at the end. And we're going to have a sort of a Q&A session with them and beyond that. So as I mentioned earlier, the chat's going to be closed till about 6:30 or so, because we really want to try to relay as much information to you as we can. I think we will answer a lot of your questions preemptively. And some of them are right here on the slide. So I wanted to begin with some quick facts and also just kick us off with the background about the school. I do want to apologize. Our principal, Wynette, was unable to join us tonight. She's very sorry that she's not able to attend. So I'm going to be filling in for Principal Wynette. And you'll also hear, as I said, from other teachers. And we have some other wonderful staff with us, our Dean Damian Muhammad, our Dean of Students, and our Director of Inclusion, Sade Martinez, as well as other support staff, Liaison and Susan Bax, who will be answering questions in the chat, as well as some of our students answer a lot of your questions as well in the chat, as well as verbally. So we've got you covered. Bugs is small. It's 300 students. That's by design, so that we really can know all of our students at this really tender time of their development, a really important 3 years. And so that we are a small school, and that is a big part of who we are. Our average class size is between 24 and 28 usually, and all of our core content classes are currently co-taught. So regardless of a student's IEP status, they are in a co-taught classroom. This is very intentional, particularly through the pandemic and beyond, to really shore up our students with exceptional co-teaching, small group work, and close relationships, both academically with their teachers and also social emotionally. We have a uniform policy that, with a dress code. You'll see it in some of the pictures here. It's a uniform shirt and pretty flexible on the bottom. Our schedule, it does change a little bit year to year. We do have one of our key design elements for our school in our charter is an extended time for learning. And we do meet from this year from 8:10 to 2:40. Sometimes it is a little bit longer. We have we do have an intervention period that takes students to 3:15. Those are, sometimes that's all students, sometimes it's students that are invited. So there's a little bit of variability here, but I can assure you that we don't go past around 4 o'clock. But we have gone as late as 4 o'clock, but that is not something that we've done recently. In order to acknowledge our kids' need for time outside of school. But we do a lot within the school day, and the longer school day does allow us to do our important project-based work, our field studies, our offsite and outdoor education. So Leah, if you can go to the next slide. Great. So Bugs was founded in 2013. We got our charter in 2011 by our co-founder Miriam Nunberg and myself and a bunch of community members and educators and parents, really to provide an additional option to families that were seeking a warm and inclusive and, like I said, small and rigorous progressive program for our kids, for all kids. It was designed to address a capacity issue, but also an equity issue in District 15 at the time. The charter school allowed all students equal access through a lottery without selection criteria. So that was really important to us at that time. Of course, that's shifted in District 15, and we're really glad for that. We chose to open a charter as well because it really gave us the latitude to develop a design and a model that had, you know, the most flexibility for a very innovative curriculum to meet adolescents' needs. It allowed us to decide on school hours and our days, and to hold our enrollment to 300 students. But as a charter, we have a lot of flexibilities to innovate, and we take that responsibility very seriously. But we also have a lot of accountability. So as a charter, we are accountable to our state authorizer, which is the New York State Education Department, NYSED, and we are governed by a board of trustees. So we're a private nonprofit. We're run by ourselves. We're a standalone community-based charter overseen by our authorizer, NYSED. They give us that flexibility, but we have accountability, and that's largely through they hold us to us implementing our key design elements and goals that we've set for ourselves, but also state tests. So state tests are reviewed annually and are a way that are gauged to see that we're doing right by the community to educate your child. So we are not a gung-ho test-taking, drill kind of school at all. But our hypothesis is that through a hands-on, real-world applied learning and innovative sustainability curriculum that addresses the core subject content and puts them in an applied context that's really meaningful for kids, our hypothesis is that, those strong state test scores will follow. And we don't make a big deal out of it, but it is a chance for kids to show what they know and to rise to the occasion. Like I said, our lottery is random, and we do have some preferences. Please check the website for more information on that to see if you're eligible for. So we have a waiting for English language learners, and for free and reduced price lunch families. And there's some other preferences you should know about there. And certainly we are mandated by law to give a preference to residents of District 15, though we have students from all over and surrounding districts. Bugs' application process and all charter school application process is separate from the DOE application process. So don't worry about that. It's not part of your ranking there. It's not they don't know, it's just completely separate. So you sort of have nothing to lose to apply, though we really like to have applications from people that really know that they do want to come to us so that we can very quickly, pull people off the wait list and get to the people who really do want to join our awesome community. So you'll see from this evening's program, I want all the kids on the call to know this, that in spite of our name, that we are not just about gardens. And if you're not crazy about gardening, that's okay. Bugs is about so much more, as you'll hear tonight. It is about a hands-on program that is about not just environmental sustainability, but social and economic sustainability. And it's about really applying your learning to things going on in your community and things that are important to you, and you also helping to make the school a better place. So tonight, I'll fill you in, since we don't have Principal Winnett, I'll be filling you in a little bit more on our academic program. Dean Damian, as I mentioned, is here to talk about our school culture at Bugs, which is a really special thing. And we will conclude with the Bugs parent and student panel. So our goal is really that you can see what your child would be learning with us at Bugs, and to come away with an understanding of how we integrate what we call our interdisciplinary sustainability approach. I know that's a lot of words, but hopefully it'll mean something a little more to you when we leave today, and how we integrate that approach into our curriculum and everything we do, and that we focus on real world problem solving and project-based learning that really is important for these middle years, a time in child development where kids sometimes are rolling their eyes and saying, why do I have to learn this? And they get a little too cool for school sometimes around 7th grade. So we're here to really engage them in what's relevant to them in their lives. So let's go to the next slide. And real briefly, some of the key components of our school, the whole child approach, the student focused approach, a small, inclusive, and intentionally diverse school, our hands-on and real world problem solving, and our sustainability education. Bugs is really a place where I think if you're shopping for other middle schools, I think you'll find that it's distinguished by our sustainability education being not just one extra class, but it is embedded in everything that we do. It is also distinguished by its size. So it's really and school culture. So it's really a place for a student or kid to be a big fish in a smaller pond, if that's something that is really important, you think, for your child. And it's not for everybody. Some students really need to be in a bigger school and kind of spread their wings, and depending on their elementary school experience, that may be a fit for them. But this is a particularly good fit for someone who would benefit from a smaller school where everyone is known. We also are able to be very nimble and innovative. That was definitely evident during the pandemic, as we quickly pivoted to remote learning, having been all pretty tech savvy with all of our programs, and done all live instruction to really keep our kids engaged. And we really take that, like I said, the flexibility of being a charter and our size and being able to be nimble, we take that very seriously. Support and rigor is something you'll hear more about. And you'll definitely hear about how our staff are very passionate about what they do, and that we have a family-like atmosphere. Let's go to the next slide, and I'll jump into some things about teaching and learning at Bugs. I will do my best without Principal Winnett here. And certainly, as I said, you can ask us more questions, and there's a lot of great information on our website. We're really here in the service of our students. So we spend all of our days trying to model for them the kind of adults that we hope that they will become. We try to model lifelong learning and making learning engaging by having sort of genuine, perplexing questions, and really challenging our students to remain curious, to be thoughtful, to ask questions. They push and poke us, and that's what we want, to keep their critical thinking skills ready for high school, and to keep us on our toes and at our best, and really exploring together what sustainability can mean for our society. And we really encourage them to take ownership of their own learning. So one of the things, as I said, that we emphasize is critical thinking skills in all of our classes. And I did mention that we have ICT in all of our core subjects, and also in a lot of our enrichment and other non-core subjects, with 2 teachers in every class who collaborate to meet the needs of individual students. They group the students very intentionally in smaller groups, depending on what they need to learn or relearn, or how they learn best. and based on that lesson for the day and the task at hand. So amazing faculty doing very good work around co-teaching models. The teachers also use data a lot to really gauge where the students are at with mastering their skills and Common Core content or next generation standard content, and really again making sure that they're grouped well in their small groups and co-taught classes. We really teach them to think critically to prepare them for high school, and their project-based work also really prepares them for a lot of the group work and project-based work in high school. It's also important that they're applying their learning. So we have them out in field studies. You'll see us, maybe you've seen the kids' uniforms throughout the community, even during the pandemic. We were out and about a lot, outside in the park, in Greenwood, in the Gowanus Canal, Sunset Park, throughout our community doing their studies. Our kids are also challenged. They receive a lot of support here. They also receive a lot of challenge. They also receive high school credit. So we have 2 Regents classes that are offered. Living Environment is a wonderful science class that we have with a lot of hands-on lab work. And that is available to all, or is required at Bugs for all 8th grade students. And we have Algebra 1, which is for those 8th grade students who qualify, sit for the Algebra 1 exam. I mentioned the co-teaching, which is just a big part of what we do at Bugs, and our sustainability sequence and focus. So make sure that our kids are really tapped into making connections across all their subjects. So in 6th grade, they're thinking a lot about the garden and the community. In 7th grade, they'll be thinking about water and waste. And in 8th grade, they're thinking about larger looks at a sustainable community, some urban planning aspects, local community, and more global components to a sustainable community. So I encourage you to, again, check out bugsbrooklyn.org. You can see some curriculum night pages around different things if you really want to get into the nitty gritty of our curriculum. It's pretty awesome. I'm going to pass it off right now to Ms. Paula Hewitt, who I think is going to take the next slide. Oh, wait, or first excuse me, I'm going to talk about champion teachers first, and then I'm going to pass it off to Paula. Excuse me. Our teachers are amazing, and they've been with us for a while, and have a lot of experience, and it really shows up in our co-teaching and the amazing rapport that they have with the kids and with each other. Teachers have been stay at Bugs. Most of them have been an average with us for about 4 years. We've been open, we're in our 9th year. Teachers are very experienced. The average experience is 8.75 years in education. We are incredibly diverse and committed to supporting our diverse and inclusive community. That's a big part of our DEI work. And our identities. It's a place where people can really be who they are, whether it's a staff or a student or a parent. That is a phrase that I hear a lot, and about how special our school is that way. We have a growth mindset. So whether it's professional development or coaching supports, we're all lifelong learners, and we like to keep that developing in our staff and sharing what we know with other schools as well as with each other within our community. We have interdisciplinary curriculum and a lot of cross-team collaboration. So part of our model and our school day, and one of the things you might hear a lot from educators, is there's just not enough time to prep and to collaborate. And our curriculum model requires that there is a lot of time to prep and collaborate. They have to collaborate across the grade to make sure that the project work is connecting, and the Common Core standards are really hitting in all the different subjects and reinforced. And so that's a big part of our model, is that we ideally try to give our teachers the time that they need to really do this intentional planning. And that adds to strong co-teaching teams. So now I'm going to introduce to Ms. Paula Hewitt, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about our sustainability approach, and I think bring in a student or two, maybe. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you very much, Susan. Hello, everybody. My name is Paula, and I co-teach sustainability at Bugs, 7th grade. I also co-teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade art, and I'm the department chair for sustainability, enrichment, and the arts. This is my 4th year at Bugs, and I've been teaching outdoor environmental education for 25 years in New York City public schools. And being at Bugs is excellent. The way I came here, for me, is that my daughter was a student at Bugs, and she had such a great experience, and that's why I'm here. So we have Saul here. Can you please turn on your mic and your camera, Saul?
Hello, everyone.
And I'd like to ask you, Saul, there are some things that you talked to me about that really made Bugs special for you in terms of the sustainability classes. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, so what I really like about sustainability class is that it's very different from any other class like I've ever had. Whenever I talk to my friends from other schools, they never have a sustainability class where they get to go outside and they get to learn just about nature and about how to live just a good sustainable life. Every class that we have, it's always something different. It's either involving art, collaborating with other kids in your class to work on a fun project, or going outside either into the Bugs Garden or somewhere in the area of the school. And I just overall really like sustainability class because it's just a class where I get to learn, and I also just get to have fun and try out a bunch of different things.
Great. And one of the things that you've been working on is part of the sustainability class. As Susan mentioned earlier, we have social, environmental, and economic sustainability. The social sustainability part in the 7th grade curriculum is tied with water. In 6th grade, we tie it to our community gardens. And in 8th grade, we're connecting it to the city and climate change and our broader environment. One of the things that I've noticed, Saul, is how important the student voice part of it is to you and the team of students that you often work with. Could you talk a little bit about student voice at Bugs?
At Bugs, there is a big student voice, and whenever we have something to say, we get heard. There is student council where we get to put out ideas of ways that we get to change Bugs, and they get put into consideration. And really at Bugs, you just have like a voice, and we're taught that whatever we believe and whatever we like think about or see as a vision in the future is understood and is really like considered.
Beautiful, thank you. And one of the things that we do is in the sustainability class, teach the economics, the environmental background, and the social knowledge that is needed in order for the student voice to then be able to be communicated in the ways that would be most effective. I also want to ask if Colin is here as well. If you are, can you let us know, Colin Walcott?
Yeah, I am here.
Thank you. So I'd like to ask you the same questions, and if you can also stay on, Saul. If you could talk a little bit, Colin, about your work that you've been doing in the sustainability class and how you feel like it connects to any of the 3 pillars, including student voice and social sustainability.
Yeah, okay. First I'd like to just say that Bugs is actually the first school I've had that has a sustainability class. no other school that I've gone to actually has that. Just like Sol said, sometimes there's our aspect of sustainability where we would go out and draw some of the plants that we would see. Either that or we would go like 1 or 2 blocks away and measure like the width, height, and maybe look at some more of the characteristics of like some of the trees in that area. Um, Sustainability, like the ones that we're researching right now, really remind me of action orientation because well, and multiple perspectives because in our class, like everybody gets a chance to speak up and we really get to work together to find the best solutions to things. I can't remember exactly what project we did last year, but I do remember that everyone talked and we came up with a really good solution. Let's see.
Did you work on the street tree project last year?
Yeah, but that wasn't it because that was more
Oh,
focused
you mean
on.
a different project. Did you work on composting as well last year?
Yeah, we did composting. That was pretty fun. Um, about like student voice, more deeper onto that. We really get to like talk more with each other and maybe think about like we get to work with people that are not just in bugs but like our friends and family about how to also live a more sustainable life.
Beautiful. Thank you. So one of the things that I wanted to let the families know that are here is that we're both doing a rigorous study of the 3 pillars that are the international 3 pillars of sustainability, environmental, economic, and social sustainability, at the same time as really diving deep into projects. And what we believe is that students will do well on the standardized tests and also on the baseline, midline, and end lines that we take at Bugs in sustainability, that we will really see that students understand some of these rigorous concepts through these very hands-on approaches that both Colin and Saul are describing. So do you have any closing things that you would like to say, Saul or Colin?
No, not for me.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us and for speaking up. Bye-bye.
Yeah, of course. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah,
Let's
maybe
move
we'll
back
catch
to you,
you.
Susan.
Maybe we'll catch you some more at the end for the Q&A. Thanks to you both. Let's go to the next slide. I also want to emphasize that sustainability in our approach is integrated into all of our classes. So we heard Saul and Colin highlight their sustainability class, but it's the projects that they do and the work that they do is integrated into all their other classes as well, though they're foundational concepts they definitely get in sustainability class. So I'm going to pass it off now to another amazing teacher, Mr. Tim Rutgers. He's going to tell you about 6th grade science.
Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Tim, as I'm known at Bugs. Real pleasure to be here. First, I want to say how great it is to see 2 of my former students, both Saul and Colin, here presenting. It's a real privilege to see them grow and just grow into just amazing, active students and learners and citizens. So it's just really great to see them. And I really pride myself now, this is my 5th year at Bugs, to really know the student body all the way through all 3 years. And it's just something I really take a lot of pride in, keeping those social connections together, particularly now after surviving the pandemic, now that we're all back in the building, to reestablish those relationships after 2 years of a variety of remote learning and hybrid learning, and now to be back in the building and watch those relationships grow again at this point. It's just been really special. And I believe, the students are really in an amazing place this year, coming back after some pretty hard times. And I believe the next couple of years are going to be equally strong for the students coming to Bugs. So that's sort of my first thought here. And as far as the sustainability curriculum, as a science teacher, it's a real priority for us in the 6th grade. We really concentrate on physical sciences in the 6th grade, and that includes the study of energy and energy resources, renewable energy, and sustainability. And then we finish off our year with a major climate and climate change study for a final project. So we like to dovetail our curriculum with the sustainability courses, and then in science really focus on the hard sciences behind the study of climate and energy. So it's a real interesting bookend between hard sciences and social sciences mixed together. So we have a extremely, I think, really strong program in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, looping those two programs together. So this is my 5th year now as the 6th grade science teacher, and really, again, take a lot of pride being sort of the core stable member of the corner of the 6th grade now. And I really love being in that position to see the school grow and prosper. And I think this is my 6th year being involved. I also had a student at Bugs 6 years ago, so I'm also a parent, an alumni of Bugs from that level as well. So it's been a really great experience for me. I also have a great privilege of having a new co-teacher this year, Mr. Kirby, who specializes in astrophysics and chemical studies, and dovetails with my work that specializes in environmental education and engineering and renewable energy. So I have over almost now 30 years of teaching with a variety of different age groups. But my focus has been teenagers for the better part of my adult life at this point. And 6th grade has turned out to be my sweet spot. So I'm excited and hope to stay where I'm at for the foreseeable future. We, again, as the 6th grade, try to look at vertical planning as we move from the 6th, 7th, and prepare our students as best we can for the living environment regions in the 8th grade. So I so happen to have probably one of the premier ecology centers in New York City in my science room right now, as well as alternative energy research labs and horticulture and hydroponics labs as well, all packed into my classroom, which I have a huge amount of pride in. Hopefully, if you get a chance to come into Bugs and see the building, you get a chance to see the room that we work in. So we have to take a great deal of pride in our building, in our work there. So hopefully you get a chance to come by. And if you have any questions, let us know. But hope everybody has a great evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tim. That's awesome. You and Mr. Kirby are rocking 6th grade. Mr. Kirby joined Mr. Tim in 6th grade, having come from 7th grade, teaching there for many years at Bugs. So they're just the dynamic duo. He knows just what they need to move on to 7th. We're going to move on now to Miss Pamela, who's a 7th grade reading teacher. And so Miss Pamela, take us away.
Thank you so much, Susan. Hi, y'all. Good evening. Welcome. Thank you for being here with us. My name is Miss Pamela. I am one of the 7th grade reading teachers. This is my 3rd year at Bugs. I think that our school is amazing because it is so incredibly hopeful to see our students engaging in sustainable learning, sustainable thinking, critical thinking, activism to fix some of the problems that they so clearly see. That really need to be fixed. Our 7th grade team is amazing. We really do cross-curricular activities and learning for the students, which they really benefit from. We have collaborative co-teaching models. I love my co-teacher. They and I plan together to really make sure that the kids are learning and get a lot of one-to-one attention, which is amazing. Our reading curriculum is based out of Columbia University. It's called Teachers College. It's beautiful because it is geared towards making sure that students really develop a love of reading, that they become lifelong readers. They get to pick a book. It's called a JRB, a Just Right book, and they practice the skills that we are learning in that book, and it really helps them to engage and think about what we're learning about and apply it into the world, which is a beautiful thing. Currently, one of our students, Mateo, is here. Mateo, are you here?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what you're feeling about class?
Sure. One thing I really like about reading class is that after we have a lesson, we always practice what we learned in the lesson. And then in future lessons, we use a similar skill or the same skill with other skills to increase our like knowledge and how we look at our book and characters in our book. And then right now we're also working on a project where we're researching, well, there's 4 different research topics, and you got to choose which research topic you're doing. And they're all related to some sort of sustainability in some way. And so you can include what you're learning in different classes and about sustainability in this project, where we're researching very in-depthly to create an opinion and then write an argumentative essay to, is there a certain person we're writing it to, or are we just writing it?
You're just arguing with everybody. So
Okay.
to all the people.
And so I've been really like excited to work on this project because I get to use my opinion and prior knowledge a lot, because my old school used to do a lot of sustainable things. But so it's nice to go to Bugs too, that like continues that kind of process in a deeper way. It feels a bit like it's like a nice transition. And I also feel like my teachers really know me in all of my classes, especially reading class. And I think it's just a really great school.
Oh, thanks, Mateo. All right, beautiful. Thank you so much. Back to you, Susan.
Thanks so much, Miss Pam and Mateo. That is really helpful. So we had a 6th grade teacher and a 7th grade teacher, multi-grade teacher. Now we have Mr. William. Will talk to us about our math program, and he's an 8th grade teacher. So he's also going to talk you through the following slide as well, which is our crosswalk for math. And then I'll quickly tell you about a typical 6th grade schedule and pass it back to some more kids. So Mr. William, take us away.
Thank you, Susan. So I'm Mr. William. I'm one of the 8th grade math teachers along with Mr. Caesar. In previous years, I was also the Algebra 1 teacher, and this year I'm also the math department coach. So just to talk a bit about math at Bugs, we're presenting this crosswalk. It's kind of the image of what a typical student who attends Bugs from 6th grade all the way through 8th grade would deal with. And 6th grade math is that foundational course that builds the skills to math success in later grades. And we see a lot that students may struggle for that initial push. And that's where you're going to get the questions of, when do we use letters in math? Why are we using letters in math? Where did this come from? Why are we doing this? And we help the students build those skills to stay resilient and push through and keep going when things are hard. 7th grade is more preparation for the crowning course of algebra, which that's really what middle school math pushes for. And I like to say it's the bridge year between concrete mathematics and abstract mathematics. And then 8th grade, which is the course I teach, it's a blended course that combines Algebra 1 and 8th grade math. And all students have the option to take the Algebra 1 regions if they would like, and have a chance to earn some high school credit, and can skip a year of math when they graduate to high school. As a department, we're really pushing for robust and explicit vocab learning usage, which is essential for state exam testing, Regents, SHSAT, and we've had some pretty amazing SHSAT admissions in previous years. I'm really happy. The first year of quarantine, that 2020 year, a student was actually accepted to Stuyvesant. So even though that was a really tough time, we still had some good news and some strong high school acceptances. We always get kids into Brooklyn Tech. We always get kids into LaGuardia. We have a strong track record with SHSAT admissions. We want to teach kids those strong foundational skills such as note-taking, questioning techniques, how to work in groups, and more of those types of things of just how to function in, or how to be successful in an academic environment. And as a school, we've taken on the charge of tackling the PR problem that math has. Math causes so much anxiety in others. And we want to confront those emotions, confront that anxiety, and turn it into a place that people can feel comfortable, confident, and feel as if they can leave into high school saying, I am a mathematician. Because we all are, but no one is willing to admit it because of the commitment that comes with it. So we're hoping that over the course of 3 years or 2 years, if they come in 7th grade, we can teach them that you're a mathematician and you have the skills to prove it. Back to you, Susan.
Thank you, William. That's great. Yeah, math is a really important, they're all important subjects at Bugs. So this is a 6th grade schedule, and you'll see how we have the core subjects, and there's also these enrichment subjects. So you see that there's technology, there's Spanish, there's sustainability, there's art. We have visual art, an art studio every year at Bugs. There's a lot of sustainability explicit themes woven into the visual art curriculum, as well as all of the enrichment classes. Technology, there's foundational course, as well as design, 3D printing, graphic design, technology skills that go beyond sort of the academic setting. And there's, you heard about the sustainability. The other thing of note is that we do have ELA split up into 2 classes. So there's reading and writing. So that's not combined. We've had excellent results and experiences separating that, but it's all coordinated within the ELA department, the English Language Arts department. So that's the schedule. We can answer more questions about it. You'll see at the end, there's also intervention or dismissal. So intervention is when there's small group work to do really targeted skill building that teachers have identified by looking at the data that there's this particular skill that's really holding a kid back from moving forward, and that can be addressed outside of the the small group work they might do in class. It's just another opportunity to really get targeted skill building in that intervention period at the end of the day. So let's move on and hear from a 6th grade student about how this schedule really lives out for her. Maria's amazing. Thank you so much for being with us again, Maria. You were at our last session. And I said, if I knew that things were, if I knew what was best, I would just have you run this whole info session. So take it away for us and tell us about your experience as a 6th grader and anything you want to share that you think is helpful for the kids and families on the call.
Thank you so much, Susan. Yeah, I love Bugs. It's a great school. I have a lot of stuff to say about Bugs. I know I don't have that much time, so I'll try to get through this quickly. But the schedule, since we were just talking about that, is great. I think it's mostly built around the gym, the cafeteria, and the recess yard, which are the only things that we share with the other school, I'm pretty sure, in MS 442. But it fits great, and we do have lockers. So we have a period of time, which is 2 minutes to go to them and get anything you want from there. I think it's the perfect amount of time. It's a little break in between classes too. The classes are all co-taught, which is really helpful because the teachers can one teacher can teach the entire group, and then another teacher can do a small group. Or, they can just help each other, and having 2 opinions, 2 perspectives helps the students learn as well. Bugs is a very inclusive school. Like Ms. Susan was saying, it's small, so it feels it doesn't feel big and you don't know anyone. On the contrary, it feels small, it feels safe. Which I'm really happy about. My other school was a bit bigger. It wasn't a huge school either, but it was bigger. And, I think middle school, since it only has 3 grades, and this is a really small middle school, that helps too. There is a house system in Bugs, which is really fun. We recently started that, actually. I'm in Valentia, and we have like fun competitions and stuff. And I think there's a point system too, but I'm not sure. The teacher said something about that. Yeah, it's really fun. It was a slide. It was very easy to understand. It was a slide, and all of my friends and me have a lot of fun, and we discuss about it all the time. They do have off-campus lunch, although I think COVID messed that up a bit for the 6th graders, but I think they're working that out too, since we are getting the vaccines, the 2nd dose soon, and a lot of people are already vaccinated, the 1st dose, which I'm very happy about. Bugs does not give a lot of homework, which is great. It's not overwhelming, and like Miss Susan was saying, that we get a lot done in class, but it's also fun, and then they really respect that time that you need as a student and as a kid outside of class, where you don't need to study. And so they don't give that much homework. They do give projects. We're currently working on a social studies board game, which I think is super fun, a reading project and a writing project as well. The writing project will be presenting tomorrow. The reading project and social studies project are due December 21st, but they give us like the perfect amount of time to work. We can choose to do it with partners, not for the reading project, but for the other two, yeah. And they really do think about what you're most comfortable with. Sometimes it's mandatory to present, but more at the beginning, it's not. And you can present however you feel comfortable for the amount of time you feel comfortable. But there is intervention and there is after school. So for the kids who need that, after school is, just an after program. It's very fun. There are different people who come in and, interact with the students in a very fun way. Intervention is more about work, and it's about helping kids who need extra help outside of class. It focuses a little bit more individually on students, which I find very helpful. I could not go to intervention because I think you have to go to the entire week, but I was accepted in math intervention, and for students who need a little extra help in a certain area, I think it's very helpful. When you first go into Bugs, it's not very overwhelming because the 6th graders and the 7th and 8th graders are separated. So for me, still, I see all the 7th and 8th graders as like really, really tall, a bit intimidating, but it's separated, and you get over that over time. But I also look up to them a lot, and the teachers are great. I look up to the teachers too. They have a great, program and everything. Something very fun about the sustainability aspect is that every month we have one day where it's called field study, and we go outside and we have some fun sustainability activity. The one that stood out to me the most was probably a field study on food equity. We went outside and we interviewed people on the street about their personal living and how they dealt with the food and their family, how big their families were. I think that was very fun. That was also a fun day before Halloween, so they had a very fun activity planned for us. Sustainability class. Sustainability is included in everything we do. There's the 3 pillars, which we talk about a lot, but there is also a sustainability class. Last class was super fun, or 2 classes ago was super fun. We made seed bombs, which is pretty much clay, seeds, and soil, and we threw them close to like where the highway is. There's a little grassy area there. That was very fun. And so they have like a little sides. They have some background, how we can be more sustainable ourselves, help our families, and help our community. And then we do like a fun activity, which I find very fun. yeah, the sustainability whole aspect of the school was completely new for me. I was like, at the beginning, I was very skeptical, like, but I'm not that into gardening, like, that's not my thing. But it's not, it doesn't feel at all like that. It feels like they're just trying to teach you how to live a more sustainable life, which I feel is very important. And I didn't have that in my old school, so that was very new and very fun for me. I think that's pretty much all I have to say. But yeah, the community is amazing, and I would definitely recommend Bugs as one of your choices for middle school. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria. That is a lot of great information for our kids, our prospective kids and families. Super duper. And some of the things that you touched on, thanks for building on all the other things we're talking about. And you mentioned that we were introducing the house system again, which we had at Bugs earlier. And with the pandemic, we're sort of bringing it back. And Dean Damian will sort of fill folks in more on that. So we talked about enrichment classes before. We have various different, we have studio art. I will say, it does change a little bit sometimes depending on our staff and the passion and skills that they bring. We do have a curriculum that's developed currently for 8th grade around CAPA, which is creative and performing arts. And we have studio that's only in 8th grade currently, that's singing, dancing, and acting, culminating in a performance, but also about the process and the background supports to that performance, the stage hands and such. Studio art is currently 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And again, it can vary from year to year, but we really do love to have sustainability themes woven into our arts programming. I told you about technology, also including this design element and STEM pieces. We do have Spanish currently for all grades. It is once a week. And we have a lot of clubs. You can tell from our students, they're amazing. They get involved. They are exploring different sides of themselves. They are trying to make the school the best it can be. And a lot of that is through clubs. So I'm very happy to say that clubs are back, not just virtual. National Junior Honor Society, NJHS is called. There's singing, there's step, there's art, there's garden clubs. Bugs Pride Community is a really big one, and student council. So that's all really important to our school. Let's go to the next slide, and I'll tell you a little bit about high school admissions. You heard somewhat from William. He talked about the SHSAT prep. We do, you can go to the next slide, Leah, thanks. Or Kevin. We really tried to sort of level the playing field with SHSAT. We've been offering that in-house, the tutoring, so that our families that can't afford tutors, really trying to level the playing field for access to the specialized high schools. Specialized high schools are not a great fit for a lot of people. It's not the be all and end all. Don't even get me started about high school admissions. Let's just focus on middle school first. But before you know it, it will be here. And I want you to know the supports that we have to offer. We have 2 guidance counselors. One of them, Annalie Chavez, who's a founding guidance counselor, focuses a lot on our advisory program, which Dean Damian will tell you a little bit about next, but also on the really helping students sort of be actively involved in researching high schools and being part of the high school process. She also meets one-on-one with every single family, and she does this bilingual in Spanish as necessary. So we've had great success, as William has said, with our placements. And it's really about a best fit school. We know that there's some sought after schools, but in the end, it's also really about best fit school and making sure that our kids have equal access to those schools that are best for them. But we're super proud of high school admissions. And before you know it, you're going to have to deal with that too. So let's go to the next slide. And Dean Damian is going to introduce himself and tell you about life at Bugs and school culture.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for joining us and being here this afternoon or this evening. I feel like Maria did such a good job of explaining the school culture. Like, really makes me proud to work at a place where everyone is in it to win it and be one as a community and understands the way that Maria explained it. It's just, I'm beside myself right now. But I am the Dean of School Culture, the Office of Student Affairs. I oversee everything that comes out of the office. We do routines, procedures, classroom support for discipline. I oversee DEI, diversity at the school, I'm sorry. Also school-wide events and lunch, recess, all the places that Maria named. I was over here smiling because she mentioned the cafeteria, the recess yard, my office. We oversee all those processes as well. And our main goal for all of these things is to keep the school building safe for students emotionally and physically, of course. That is our top responsibility for my office. So within that, what we do is we really have a privilege, I think, of seeing the kids from 6th grade and as they travel through to 8th grade and create a space through advisory programs and other things that we do with all the things that we do, where they get to make a couple mistakes because this happens. They're students and they're children and they're learning, but we also really help them grow. So by 8th grade, we're able to see their maturity. One of my favorite aspects about my job is seeing them come in from student orientation, which I have a big hand in planning that for students when they first come into the BUGS community to understand our CARES values, community awareness, reach, exploration, and student value. And as they transition from 6th to 7th grade to 8th grade, really helping them understand how all of those values connects to life, the work they're doing within the sustainability program, their classrooms, and all the events that we work on. We do a lot of restorative practices. So through those mistakes where they are learning about the values, things still happen. We're not quick to just dismiss a student or suspend. We really do understand that they make these mistakes. Our school culture, our teachers have really leaned into the restorative process, which looks like a lot of circles, a lot of talking, learning. They sit in my office and they do restorative projects, as we call them, where we do research. We might watch videos and really reflect on why that mistake should not have happened, who from the community may need an apology. And I feel like over the time that I've been at BUGS, about 5 or 6 years, I've really seen the investment from the community and shifts in the school culture by leaning into students and understanding who they are and helping them understand who they can become instead of pushing them away. One of the aspects of the job and restorative practices in the spaces where they can learn about the CARES values, Susan Tenner mentioned this a while ago, is the advisory program. So Anna Lee, our school counselor, oversees the advisory program. She does all the curriculum and works with the teachers as advisors on that program. In the advisory program, it's first thing in the morning for about 50 minutes. That advisor is really their point person for a lot of things. They help them reflect on their grades, what's happening in the school building, and setting them up for success on a day-to-day basis. The community is smaller. They have about, I would say, half the size of their learning cohort that they go through their classes. So it's about 14 to 15 kids. It's really a family feel. I'm excited. Tomorrow starts one of the waffle parties that is a class 1. So I get to push into that advisor and really get a chance to, connect with them and build a community. So a lot of different things happen throughout the advisory model. What else? Really with school culture, we just want our students to understand and feel valued, that they understand that they are valued in our community and learn to advocate for themselves through everything that we're doing. So from student orientation all the way through graduation, helping them develop and understand that they are valued and they can have a strong voice in changing the world. So I think that is everything from me, Susan. I was just shopping for the waffle party, so I just ran up my stairs and jumped on, but
that's awesome. Get extra syrup. The Office of Student Affairs is incredible, and Dean Damian is wonderful in leading it. School culture is a big part here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pass this slide off to Sade. Ms. Sade Martinez oversees students with IEPs, our English language learning program, and really just making sure that we have an inclusive community in everything that we do and are meeting students' needs with all their different abilities and styles, learning styles. I do want to mention, we were planning on going till 7:30. If some of you thought are rolling off soon, I want to just give you a quick sense of what's ahead. I'm going to be super quick after Miss Sade goes, because Maria pretty much told you everything you need to know. And but I will show you some quick pictures of the school building, and then we'll get to Q&A and we'll open up the chat. So as soon as Sade is done. But so without further ado, here's Sade Martinez.
Good evening, everyone. I am actually so excited to be here tonight. I have not been able to participate in our family info session so far this year, but this has been super great. So my name's Sade Martinez. I've been with Bugs for going on 5 years now. And not only am I part of our staff, but I also have a recent Bugs graduate. He has now moved on to 9th grade, but I am part of that cohort of folks that shares the I'm a parent, but I'm also a staff member at Bugs. So I'm going to talk to you just for a few minutes about our special education program and our student support services. And this may be a little bit different than what you're used to, especially if you're coming from the DOE or maybe a private or parochial school and you're just looking to get into a charter that's like ours. So our special education program, as you have heard, is based on the integrated co-taught model, so ICT, right? We have 2 teachers in every classroom. And what that means is it's about a 40-60 split. So some of the students in the class may have an IEP or a 504 or be an English language learner. And the other students are considered general education students that do not have a learning document or learning needs. We partner with the Committee on Special Education, or what we call the CSE, and they help us to chair our IEP meetings and help us make higher level decisions around students' needs and what they may need to come into the school, like other services such as occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy. All those are contracted out through the DOE, but we also are really, really fortunate to have our own in-house guidance counselors. And so you have heard about Miss Anna Lee already. We also have Miss Nabulsi, who is new to our team this year, but comes to us with many years of experience as a guidance counselor. And so we're really fortunate to have both of these individuals on staff all the time. And it's not just to check in with students who may have an IEP for various reasons. It's also to just check in with students who may be feeling down on a certain day. And I think that that's really special to highlight because it's not something that you can get just anywhere. Beyond that, let me see, I'm trying to see what else we didn't cover here. Right, so speaking of varied learning needs, many of our students are struggling with executive functioning or needing prompting and redirection. And I just wanted to highlight the amazing job that I've seen our teachers do in that area, especially coming in from the pandemic. I think a lot of families found that their students were having struggles that maybe they didn't notice before, but that remote year, it really tested us. And so our staff have rapidly adjusted and implemented new strategies or continued with the strategies that they were using previously to meet our student population needs. And so that may mean using agendas to kind of keep track of assignments and leaving time up in class to go through writing these assignments down. Hey, did you get everything down? Going through checklists. There's just so many things. Redirection, prompting. I mean, the teachers will take all the time that's necessary to make sure that they really know who your student is and what they're needing. And this doesn't mean only if they have an IEP or a 504. It means everyone. And that's what's really special about Bugs. Our small inclusive learning environment allows us to meet the needs of everyone in our community. So without prolonging this, I will pass it back to Susan, but we do hope to see you in our building soon.
Yes, we hope to have a session in the spring for our accepted families. and maybe those that are kind of at the top of the wait list, so that we can cycle you through safely and you can see the space. We're all humbled by this and what really may happen, but that's what we're hoping for. So we really do hope to see you. Let's go to the next slide. And we'll quickly cycle through here. We've got some great questions coming in. We've got Maria, our 6th grader, who's like rocking answering the chat. Thank you for that, Maria. I did put in also Sade's email so that you can contact her directly if you have questions about the special education services or English language learning at Bugs, or maybe you have a specific question about whether Bugs is a fit for your child's IEP needs. Please write to her directly. That's in the chat. It's also on our website, Sade.Martinez@bugsbrooklyn.org. As Maria mentioned, there's an after-school program. It is free. It is funded by DYCD. It's got a lot of really cool, fun stuff that you heard her mention. And you can send questions about that program to afterschool@bugsbrooklyn.org. Let's go to the next slide. We're going to do a super quick tour. Maria mentioned some of these shared spaces and how our schedule kind of is designed to share these spaces with another middle school in the building, 442, and also the pre-K for PS10, which is called K280. So we share a huge auditorium, wonderful gymnasium, which is great for our basketball team games and our PE classes. We share a wonderful cafeteria that goes out to a newly renovated recess yard, which we are thrilled about. It was not always so gorgeous. And they just planted trees in it the other day, which will be great shade on hot days. Let's go to the next slide. You also heard Maria talk about how there's a 6th grade wing, and the big scary 7th and 8th graders, no, they're just big, are in a separate wing. So it's like an elbow. So that's really neat. So this is the first time 6th graders, they have all these different classes. They have different teachers. There's changing classes. But the cool thing is it's all on that one corridor that you see there. So they're just kind of going across the hall or next door or down a couple doors. It's not it's a great way to ease into that kind of schedule change. We do have our own entrance at the Bugs entrance. There's a main entrance as well, not during arrival and dismissal. And of course, we have our amazing gardens, 3 gardens designed by students, researched and maintained by the students. So let's go to the next slide. And I'm going to pass this off to some of our wonderful alums and students and parents that are here, and also try to address some of the questions in the chat. First, let's maybe start with Naomi. Did you want to say hello as our only alum and explain your experience? And if you saw anything in the chat that you could address, maybe you could do that.
Sure. I have not seen anything in the chat that I can address.
I'll check it out while you talk and see if there's anything
totally.
high schooly. Okay.
Yeah, but hi, I'm Naomi McLeod. I'm a part of the Bugs class of 2020. The best things that you can ask me are things that are a part of, the high school process, getting into high school from Bugs, and kind of my experience through all 3 years. I went to Bugs for all 3 years for middle school, and I think that I just learned so many different things from Bugs about sustainability and about leadership, and I grew so much as a person, and middle school is just those formative years. And I think that if you have any questions about anything, especially those 3 years of middle school that I've gone through and at Bugs and just my process getting into high school, you can totally ask me. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see what we have here. There was a question about COVID, response to COVID. I have to say, we do have the world's best COVID safety officer, Kay Tolson. She's got the mug to prove it. Like many of us and many of you, I'm sure, the pandemic has required that we all have multiple jobs and deal with a huge amount of other logistics that we hadn't prior. But I have to say we've done an incredible job with that. We have a very robust testing program. We test about over 75% of our population every week. So that is very different from the 10% at the DOE. That has kept us safe. It has kept us open. We've had very limited quarantining that has been required from that, but when it's necessary, we do it, and we have a remote expectations around that. So any further questions, you can look. There's also posted on our website is a COVID sort of reentry plan, and if you go into the policy section, you can see some more details on that, or feel free to write us if you have more on that. Let's see. Let's see who we should tap into. Maybe Chanel, do you want to chime in as a parent? Or I think Kristen Real, you're here as well. Mateo did an amazing job sharing his experience. Do either of you want to jump in and share your experience as parents?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Chanel Walcott. You met my wonderful son Colin a little bit earlier today as he was talking about sustainability. I'm also part of that parent staff club at Bugs that Ms. Sade mentioned earlier, where I work at Bugs, and I have Colin as a 7th grade student. I also have a daughter, Anaya, who is now a 9th grader. And so I've had the benefit of just being a part of the Bugs community for a few years now. I'm so happy to just talk about the growth that I've seen in my students. Colin especially, last year, starting off the school year, middle school, remote instruction, I worried about how he'd really just adjust to all of that while we're battling this COVID pandemic, but he loves it. He thrives. He was able to connect with students and teachers, even in the remote environment. And then when we joined and became hybrid, he was able to make friends, connect with his teachers. He loved having that hands-on instruction finally, after talking about it for months while he was remote. And now, being in 7th grade, he's grown even from September to now. I have the benefit of really just connecting with his teachers, and they love to tell me how he's jumping into assignments, how he's leading, how he's showing so much interest in sustainability, where, at first he was like, I don't know what I would do with gardening. He really didn't understand it before jumping in and seeing how sustainability is really weaved into all of the classes. He was excited recently to participate in his social studies. Like, they had this project where it was the trial of Christopher Columbus, and he was so excited. He was G-chatting his teachers even after hours. I mean, I heard about that from the teachers as well, but they loved it. It showed excitement, it showed interest, it showed engagement. And so I've seen so much of that, and I feel that joining this Bugs community, you'd benefit from that as well. I'm happy to answer any questions later on after giving some other parents a chance to chat as well.
Hi, Kristen, were you able to join us? I don't know if you could hop on. I know you had some other obligations.
I am here. I am here. Can you hear me? Let me just figure out my camera here.
Oh, perfect. Hi. Thank you so much.
Hello. Thanks for having me. I'm so sorry I missed my son talking earlier. I was still working, so I missed
we were recording it. He killed it. It was awesome.
He was so excited.
He was really helpful.
So my son is in 7th grade at Bugs, and we came in as 6th grade with the pandemic, and I can't sing praises more for Bugs. We've had such an incredible experience, and I didn't tour Bugs. We couldn't tour because of the pandemic. So we went in really blind. We had gotten into one of the lower choices on our application with the DOE. And so we got a seat at Bugs, and we decided to go for it, knowing so little during the pandemic. And, I chose it a lot for location and its reputation. And I think that location really matters, and we live pretty close to the school, so I think he's really benefited from that. I know a lot of the kids enjoy walking to school together. They have little groups. But I have to say that they handled the pandemic really well with the remote learning. I was extremely impressed with how engaged my son was. He tends to be a pretty resilient, academically focused kid to begin with, but I was there every day listening, and it was just a really robust program. So that went really well. And then I would say I've been really impressed. I don't know if you guys talked about it earlier, but with the parent-teacher conferences and engagement, I feel like every teacher has been so responsive to me when I've had a question. The conferences, even though they're 10 minutes long, have been really helpful to understand what the curriculum is. I've, of course, loved being part of the PTA. I do some of the garden projects, but also I did a book trade night the other night at the Brooklyn Brewery Garden or whatever it is at the Greenwood. And that was so much fun. So I think as a middle school parent, I found that there's still a parent engagement with bugs that I don't hear from a lot of my friends that go to the other DOE middle schools. My son had gone to PS10 and I was really involved with a lot of the parents there. So there's sort of a morning that you have when you leave the elementary school. And I haven't felt that at Bugs. I've made a lot of friends with parents. So I swear they're not paying me to say all this. But I really feel like it was the best choice we could have made for him. And it's small, it's lovely. All the teachers know him well. So I just feel like it's been a really great choice and in the community for him, but also for me. And lastly, I'll say, I was talking with someone about this today. He's definitely very pushed academically. He's a straight A student. Again, he loves academics, but I find like the social studies program has been amazing for him. He raves about it. He wishes he had social studies every day, but I find him, challenged. It's not just a walk in the park. There's definitely, enough challenge there for him, even being a really smart kid. So I think the program is not only community and sustainability focused, but definitely has an academic edge that I think feel like he's keeping up for high school and for the SAT and all those things we worry about as New York City parents. So, and I'm happy to answer any questions after. If anyone wants to email me, you can ask Susan for my email. I'm happy to talk with anybody that has more questions.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Checks in the mail, Kristen. No, just joking.
I'm always here to help.
That was wonderful. Thank you. It is lovely to hear everyone share their experience, and hopefully really helpful for you all. So is there anything else that we heard from Mateo's probably maybe still with us. I don't know. We heard from Saul, Maria, Colin a little bit, and the parents. Is there anyone else who wants to share or anything else, staff, that you see in the chat that we haven't addressed yet that you think we should chime in on before we say goodbye? Oh, okay, great. Tom wants to hear about the house system. It's a lot like Harry Potter's sort of Hogwarts. It's sort of, that's what it's modeled after, and that's the hook for the kids. It's a reflection of our CARES values, and it's a way to create cross grade and particularly, with COVID, there's even more siloing of groups in order to be safe, but it's a way to create activities, sometimes virtual in this particular environment, that make relationships and connections and healthy competition and projects and community engagement across the school. Across the grade and across, up and down and sideways. So it's part of building community. Is there anything you wanted to add to that, Damian? How did I do? I think I did okay. So how many houses are there? It's, I think it's the care, I think it's on the website, CARES. It's probably 5, it might be 6. But yeah, we can, I think you can see more on the website, maybe in the section that's more about school culture. So, when I'm not talking, I can see if I can find it and link that part in the chat, Tom. So
Ms. Susan?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if I can step in for a moment.
Please.
I think that there are 4 houses. There are 4 advisories. So, pretty much, we have 601, 602, 603, and 604. And then that's for 7th, 6th, and 8th.
So there are 4 houses there: Lumiere, Valentia, and 2 other ones. I can't remember the name right now. But it's blue, red, purple, and yellow. So there are 4 houses, Tom.
That's awesome. Thanks, Maria. Don't listen to me, Tom. Listen to Maria. Things are evolving all the time, and she knows what's what right now. We also have another parent, Maria D'Agostino, who is on. I didn't know. Did you want to add something, Maria? Mom, Maria?
Hi, so, do you hear me? Hi.
Hi, we can hear you.
Sorry. No, I did want to say hello since I'm here. A lot of what I wanted to share has already been shared by all of the other great parents, but I will share that Allegra loves being at Bugs. She's a 7th grader. So she started during the pandemic and was 100% online. And she enjoyed it even then online. Bugs just did a phenomenal job with teaching and engaging students even online. But now in person, that experience for her is all the better. She really loves it. She loves the small classrooms. She loves the community. These are some of the most engaged teachers that she has had and that I've ever met. And they really do know all the students and they know Allegra, and it is really good talking with the teachers during parent-teacher conferences to really get the sense of they know your child, what they need, what they need to improve, and what's going really well. Then it makes me feel really comfortable that she's on the right track. So I would encourage, again, if you're thinking of applying to Bugs, to apply to Bugs. I've had an experience where my nephew was in a good middle school, but then for all this was missing some of the strengths of Bugs in terms of the engagements of engaging with the with the teachers, and felt really disconnected. And he has since transferred to Bugs and is having just as great an experience as my daughter. So it does offer something very unique. And we're very happy to be part of the community. And I'm also part of the PTA. So again, there's opportunity for parents to be engaged with Bugs. So that's what I'll add. And I am always available for any questions. So thank you, Susan, for calling me out.
Oh, of course. No, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. That means so much.
You.
And yeah, it's really true what you were saying, what Kristen was saying. And that's, by design. And it's also because you all really bring it, that middle school is often the time when your kids are pushing you away. And that's what they're supposed to be doing. And that is developmentally appropriate. But we do try to keep you engaged in their learning and in the community and supportive to each other. And so it's so beautiful to hear that that's, really playing out for everybody. So great. I am seeing some questions in the chat about sort of cohorting, and it is a little different this year. You do stay in the same section, usually the same cohort that travels together. So you do stay in that group. There are a few classes where you might get mixed up. For the most part, you stay in that group. And it used to be that advisory in non-COVID settings, your advisory group would be a smaller group that would be chances are just a few people from your cohort, but you would get to be other people from the rest of the grade. But because of trying to keep things safer, all of our advisories are subsets of the cohort. So the cohort's split in half so that contact tracing and exposure is limited. So the kids have a little bit less exposure to other people in the grade, which is not as good socially, though we try to compensate for that and are doing that more and more, particularly with vaccine status and safe outdoor activities. But they do are safer by being in these smaller groups. Any other questions, Susan Bax or others that you feel we need to address in these last couple minutes before we say goodbye?
Hey, Susan, maybe you want to talk about the process of the lottery.
Sure. So
maybe Kevin, go to the next slide.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, awesome. Perfect. Yeah, we should rest on this. So y'all need to apply. You can do that by going on our website. We recommend you do it now while you're thinking of it. It takes, like a hot minute. It doesn't take long at all. The deadline is April 1st. So it is not the same deadline as the DOE, which I think is in December sometime. But it's good to do now just so you have it done. The lottery is held, it will be held. Oh, we have a date for it. That's great. April 7th, 2022. The details, like I said, about the admissions process are on the website on the admissions page. If you have any questions, you can write us at admissions@bugsbrooklyn.org. And I think that's it for now. We encourage everyone to apply. If you are out of district, it's worth a shot. Depending on the year, we do admit a lot of students from out of district. So it is worth trying. We will be accepting applications for 7th and 8th grade. We often don't let many 8th graders in, but we do, depending on the year, let 7th graders in. We have to assess how many seats we have available, but you can go ahead and apply, and then you'll be on the wait list for when things open up. Any other questions I should address? Great. Well, it was just amazing to have you all with us, taking all this time. I hope it was a helpful hour and a half. We hope to see you in the spring. Thanks again to our incredible Bugs kids. I hope you got a sense of their student voice that they take seriously, and their pride and knowledge about the community and what we're trying to do in creating a new school and a great microcosm for our society and a hopeful, sustainable future. So thanks to our parents, prospective and current, and Naomi, again, for all your time as an alum showing up again. Take care. And if you have any questions, write us. Thanks.